Four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neal Ruhl. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy.
Big D!
Right here on the Woodward Sports Network on a Wednesday. My name is Neal Ruhl, that guy over there. Yeah, that guy. D-Mac, Darren McCarty here in the house, the four-time Stanley Cup champion. We have Spenmo Racks on the ones and twos. We have Sam Flannel in the house as well. We're locked. We're loaded. We are ready to rock. Tap in to that WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Detroit Dabber 313, as is tradition. First one in with the big what up, though. What up, Dabber? Good to have you along for the ride. Tammy Chin, I was dying laughing at Neal, Braylon, and Maz yesterday. That was a great show, too. I was on the final word yesterday, just so everybody knows.
I just spent, guys, I'm a little out of breath. Running back in, renegotiating. Had to get Neal a few extra shekels in the bag, but I told him honestly is that was really probably the whole episode of the final word. And Johnny Subs says it the best. You had Maz in a blender yesterday, and it leads me back to the days of the final word or the hook that Maz and I used to do with Pilar Lastra. When the station opened and the frustrations I used to get. So you handled it well. What a great show you guys did. Great job filling in for Ryan Ermanni. Hopefully everything's good to get back to order. But it brought me up to something, Neal, when I was watching that, is that I think that that should happen more often, at least, maybe once a month or something, but the interaction, because I think it just, the way that you were able to maybe not only the listeners out there, your point of view, but it's a different perspective. I know that talking with, you asking Braylon different questions as a football guy, like when you asked me the hockey guy, I like the flow of it, and it just shows you that Woodward Sports Network, we're all in this together. So great job. But welcome back. Welcome back. That was it. That was your yearly loan.
The agents are talking. All I do is show up and do the show that they asked me to do, and then the agents are talking. Hey, D-Mac, could you run over and get me some iced coffee? No sugar, extra cream, please. I'll wait. Go ahead.
There you go. There you go. Just like that, guys. Something like that.
Yeah. And I think here going forward, too, Spenmo, Sam Flannel's not allowed to make eye contact with me anymore. All right. So if you could just look away, Sam Flannel, even when you're talking to me, please look away. No eye contact with me. These are, I have to get into the final word mode, Spenmo. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So where's my coffee? Do not look at me, Sam Flannel. And where's my check?
That's fair.
That's fair. Okay. We're cool then?
Yeah.
Everybody, we're cool. No, it was a lot of fun to step in there. Steven Syrett says tone. Absolutely. It's funny. When I do tone on this show, I'm arrogant or know-it-all, but when I do tone on the final word, it's just...
You blend in.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's the final word.
Final word.
The final word, man. I did it for us, Spenmo. I did it for all of us,
You
man.
made it.
For one day.
You made it.
Well, I came back there yesterday when I found out... I was like,
yep.
Solidarity, brother. That is it.
You know what? I got it. Eric Lee. Absolutely. Like, here's the thing. I tuned in, but my favorite was Neal screaming at Maz, like Eric Lee says about the window of winning, right? Was one of the funniest things. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out.
Yep.
But to explain the fact that now is our time, right now. And you can't all the talk about the quarterback because you can get a player that can help you extremely win this North, right? To be effective, to take yourself, who even knows, right, deeper into the NFC Championship with a player, not a guy sitting on the bench.
And that's my overriding message, and you guys will get tired of hearing that message from now.
You got that message. I got the hashtag. Why is it playing 1919? We're all good here.
From now until the draft, you're going to hear that message go over and over. Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow. Oh, somebody served me water.
A minute.
Oh my gosh.
This isn't mineral water. Who would? I would never
San
drink
Pellegrino.
this.
Thank you, Abby.
I would never drink that.
I
Get
got
this
San
out of here.
Pellegrino. I
Did
got
you?
yours. I got yours.
Oh, this isn't mineral water. This isn't from the highest elevations of the Rocky Mountains.
That was a Seinfeld joke.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was a Maz drop. That wasn't a Neal. He's doing it to you. He's
I
not
know,
looking
I
at
see
you,
that.
but he's subtly doing that. That
All
came
right.
from him.
I don't care. He can play whatever he wants, as long as he
Okay.
doesn't look me in the eye.
All right.
That's what it is.
I'll hold him accountable. No looking, Sam. There you go.
Mike G, rule breaker. Do you feel like a leader and best in the Ermanni chair? I can't remember. Did I call for Michigan to win the national title again?
I think you did.
Did I?
And the Lions to win the Super Bowl.
I think I did. You're probably right.
No,
So
it's
I
the
fit
chair,
right in.
though. I told you this chair makes you yell.
Yeah.
This chair, I seen it yesterday because you don't get hot like that. It's a combination of this chair, Maz, everything else.
Yeah. Shine me up. Neal almost made Maz cry. I did not.
Maz does not get that worked up.
Yeah, I did not almost make
What are
him
you yelling
cry.
at me for?
Yeah, so it was fun. I'm great. It's great to be back home though with my people. We'll say the regular old people,
The slums.
Yeah, it's great to be back slumming
You know
with
what it's
everybody
like?
here.
Yeah, you know what it's like? It's like playing on the grind line, right? And then you get called up and you get some PP time and maybe you get a shift or you get to play with like Igor or Stevie for a while. And it's like, that's cool for a while, but just, I'd rather
gotta
just
get back with your people.
bash people, keep the puck out of the net.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There they are.
Todd Saint says you did make him stutter though. It's
You
a
got
gift,
him. You rattled him.
no doubt,
You're a wordsmith.
no doubt. Well,
You got
it's-
Lucas earlier today.
I did. Well, yeah, because the stuff he was talking about
Was
he
ish.
ceased to become Lucas. At that point, he started to become Luke.
Yeah.
when he's over here. And look, Spenmo, I admire your takes about Jared Goff because you stand by them.
Yes.
You don't flip flop. You don't change course. And even you, if the cost was giving 2 first-round picks and paying $20 million more, almost 10% of the cap to Lamar, you're out.
Yeah, I'm not doing
That's
it.
a hard.
Hell no.
That's a hard pass.
Hard pass.
That's it. That's all. I will say this, though, for Lamar. The Atlanta Falcons have said, we're good.
Yep.
The Miami Dolphins have said, we're good. The Raiders,
Wells
What
running
does
dry.
this mean, Neil? Like what right now, this, in March, right here after yesterday coming out and Baltimore finally deciding what they're gonna do. Who's in a better position here? Right? Because I was hearing all this that Baltimore screwed up going into this, but now is it Lamar? Does somebody have to offer him something, or is he possibility to sit out, or what happens?
I think if it were just the money, I think Atlanta would be interested. But the 2 first-round picks, man, and it snows people like Luke in the back where, again, how about if I framed it to you this way? And this is the key, right, with Maz, with everybody. And this is a freebie for everyone out there. If somebody either is not willing to accept your point of view or doesn't believe your point of view, what you have to do then is relate the material. And I tried to relate the material to Luke or to anyone in general that has this Lamar nonsense going on. So you're telling me that essentially you'll trade Jared Goff, you'll trade Penei Sewell, and you'll trade Aiden Hutchinson and pay $20 million more for Lamar Jackson because Brad Holmes has shown you what do first round picks become around here?
Players.
Who do they become?
Good players. In your case, right? Hall of Fame, jacket, Penei Sewell starting to be. We're not going to go there with Hutchinson yet, but obviously really good players, all defensive rookies, stuff like this. He gets guys in the league that are effective, right? So you can't give that up. And we're not talking about Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, seriously, that would it be Patrick Mahomes that you would think about giving that up for? But would you even give it up for him? You know what I'm saying at the end of it all, because I'm using Patrick Mahomes because he's the best player in the league, right? Best quarterback in the league. Lamar's
The
not
price
even close.
is just too high.
You can't. You have the guy that they believe in, a guy that I believe. I think that the question it comes down to is whether you believe Jared Goff can win a Super Bowl with this team or not. That's it. And if you don't, then I understand why you're looking
But see, even that, D-Mac, like, that's not the line of thinking. The line of thinking is, it isn't even necessarily can we win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. It's we will not win one with how Lamar Jackson's financial structure would limit us. Or the cost of acquisition.
Absolutely. But I stop when I say I believe in Goff, right? So I'm not even looking at first-round picks or anything like that to Lamar Jackson. I believe in Goff more than Lamar Jackson, right?
That's fair.
Because, and Braylon, guys, listen to the former players in the sport. When Braylon brings up the fact that, Lamar gained weight last year to be more durable, but lost 0.1 or 0.2, right? Went from a 4.3 to a 4.5. That's worth money too, right? When you can't elude or evade or whatever like that, doing the little things. What did we see Patrick Mahomes do when he needed to with that bad ankle? Just enough speed to get out of the way. Well, Lamar's lost that. And that's got to be less value, doesn't it? So again, that brings the cost of doing business down. It's not even a question for this team, especially for where they're at. Maybe it was a question last year, Neal, right? Before Aiden Hutchinson. In this position last year, maybe it made more sense than Lamar Jackson. But right now, for your Detroit Lions, it makes zero sense.
Absolutely. And here's one here. I'm Salty says, you clowns would rather pay Goff than Lamar is crazy to me. And Salty, look, man, no, I'd rather pay Goff $20 million less and not have to surrender 2 first-round picks. Salty, the people that say, I want to pay a quarterback 40% more and give up 2 first-round picks to get him, that sounds like clown talk to me. When you have a GM, again, this isn't even a Goff thing for me. It's ceased becoming a Goff thing for me. It's a Brad Holmes thing for me. Brad Holmes is my Lamar Jackson running out in the open space. That's this organization's Patrick Mahomes. It's Brad Holmes with a draft pick, multiple draft picks in the first round. Look at what they've become. Look at what they've become. I will say this. You want a bold proclamation, Sam Flannel? Aiden Hutchinson stays on this course. He's a gold jacket, too.
Thank you. I would tend to agree with that. I mean, with the rookie season, it wouldn't shock me at all if he, like I said yesterday, becomes a Pro Bowler year 2, an All-Pro year 3 or year 4, and becomes a guy that
you got to have that discussion.
Absolutely. And we were talking about before last season that maybe he doesn't have the ceiling of a Watt brother or a Bosa brother or a Myles Garrett. I'm not so sure anymore. I think that he could be an All-Pro by maybe year 3 or year 4. And that was another Brad Holmes draft pick. I know that he fell to number 2, but still, he had the presence of mind to take him instead of a guy like a Kayvon Thibodeau, who's also, I think, going to be a good player. But Aiden Hutchinson, if it wasn't for Sauce Gardner having a historic rookie season, it would have been Aiden Hutchinson winning the Rookie of the Year, no doubt about it, maybe unanimously on the defensive end.
And what about, and look, this is accelerating the timetable on it. You know what? We'll do it when we get back because this is going to take more time. So I want to give this point that's in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. I want to give it its due diligence here. And you guys are moving the show. Like, this is the way you want to go, so this is the way we're going to go. And because I think we're on to something, because I can feel it in the room here. I can feel it in the chat thread out there as well. People are ready to get into it. And D-Mac, if these people are ready to get into a haircut, what's the move?
Well, there's only one place to go. You come to Lady Jane's for the award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home. How does $200,000 sound? Yes, $200K. Get into Lady Jane's. Register. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Off and running, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here with you on a Wednesday. Quarterback news all over the National Football League. Tag deadline was electric. The free agency starts coming up. We'll take a look at that as well. And Spenmo, I think this is how this is going to go, man. Today's going to be heavy wall-to-wall football, it almost feels like, because there's so much going on. The NFL, it's a beast. The NFL. All right, here's a question for you, just real quick. This could even be a topic later if we wanted it to be. Is the NFL offseason the second most important sports season of the year?
Next to regular season football?
Yes.
The NFL regular season?
Is it greater than the NBA?
We
Is
always
it
say
greater
the
than
NFL runs everything. So they're the monolith. They're whatever they put out is gonna go to the top. It's the top story, no matter what it is. Right? Look at yesterday. We didn't get to it. You talked about Tom Brady and his face caving in and sitting at the UFC fight, but you see all over media the minute there's a mention of him coming out of retirement, you got 8,000 million people running with it. Right?
It's wild.
So anything NFL, right? And that's just the way it is. So
because they already got the draft, right? They own that weekend. I think now they own this March.
Here's the whole thing, right? And you see where the conversation goes, right? Like when hockey's trade deadline and whatever like that, that's a strict focus. Not even focused on the draft, which is coming up, after the season and stuff like this, and we know, Connor Bedard. But when you're talking football, we got free agency, which is next week, right, coming up. That's not even the bell of the ball. We're hearing the draft music. Everybody wants to know where you're drafting. You look at everybody doing their mock drafts and stuff like that. I saw Flannel on the Morning Wood with his mock draft, trade back to 9 and different things like that. That's where it's at for me. Right, with this Lions team, with Brad Holmes, because what you said, right? Brad Holmes, Lions fan. And this is weird, Terry Foster said, is your best GM that you've ever had in this organization. So he is your blue chip player.
He is your Mahomes, man.
He is your Mahomes. He is this guy. So you got to let him work. So I'm interested to see, what does he do with free agency, right? Does he make a splash? Is there a move? Is there a guy that he's going to go out and get, pay for a cornerback? Where are they going to spend the money? Then we worry about the draft. But just like when I talk about Steve Yzerman and a game plan, and he's going to give it to you when he wants, not when we want, I have the same feeling about Brad Holmes until he shows me differently. But free agency is bigger because the draft's still a ways away. And when you have a team that is on the uprise like we are, and the expectations, this is when you expect to make a splash.
All right, WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Wrapping this up, Jack Harrington, Neal fatality Maz yesterday on the final word. That one's pretty funny. Here's the one I want to get to. Fatality. Brandon Katz. And this goes to easy. I saw a lot of this around easy too, Spenma. Woodward heavyweights, by the way, 5-7. 5-7. This goes to Easy Nation out there. Okay. All right. Brandon Katz says Goff's not going to cost $20 million less. Goff will get $40 million if Detroit re-signs him. Guys, he's still got 2 years left with no exits. There's no penalty to exit. Why does this have to be done now? Why all of a sudden, because Daniel Jones got $40 million, why does this have to be done now? And you know what, guys, too? And we're going to get into the Daniel Jones thing. People are losing their mind about Daniel Jones getting, $40 million per year, 4 years, $160 million. Only 82 of it's guaranteed, number one. But number two, Rain Prescott got $40 million a year 2 years ago when the cap was $180 million. But it's $225 now.
Isn't Danny Dimes' deal, and I was going to ask you, draft capital, salary cap guy, What is the number? But isn't it team friendly because of the way that he set it up? Isn't he only $19 million on the books next year? Where what did the Giants have between $35 and $40 million to spend? But instead of $35 million on the books, it's the same thing that you're talking about that you could do with Jared Goff, right? To extend it down the road to make it more cap friendly, right? It's the same thing with Derek Carr. Right, did with these cap-friendly team deals, right? By these quarterbacks. So, that's something that you might be able to see if you're talking about extended Jared Goff. But the thing is, he's already paid. Like people don't understand that. They think that there's something that you owe or you're on the books
heavy lifting's
for
done.
Like all these other teams, and it's not.
Yeah, the heavy lifting is done for a guy that you saw him do it over the course of the last 24 games. You're going on a year and a half now. How much more data do you need, dude? And that's, for me, that's where it's at, because he's a guy, we know what it is. He's a guy that had a better year than Lamar Jackson did last year. So, again, stop with this Lamar Jackson stuff. Stop with it. Stop with giving $20 million more a year to your quarterback spot. Stop with giving up 2 first-round picks. Stop with this Lamar Jackson to Detroit stuff. Stop it.
Stop it.
In what
Get some
world
help.
does that move make sense? And look, everyone's going to say, I'd rather have Lamar. Okay, cool. Would you rather have Jared Goff and Aiden Hutchinson and Penei Sewell? Because that's what 2 first-round picks are to Brad Holmes. That's what they've become. I've watched it. We've all seen it. No, it's easy for you to say on a chat thread and say, oh, Lamar's better. Okay, you're paying 2 first-round picks and $20 million more? No, you're not, so stop. Please. And I'm not upset right now. I'm not upset. I want you all to do well in your lives. That's what I want for everybody. I want everybody to be happy. And if you're going to put yourself through this ringer, that is going to get me upset. Because you're not hurting me. I get how the real world works. You're hurting yourself. And I don't want to see you do that to you. You're a fan of Woodward sports. I don't want to see that happen. So, D-Mac, I'm trying to be a man of the people here.
As you should. You want to try to protect them from themselves. Right? But it's also, too, is that if we believe that, and we've done the polls, you look at the odds, you look at the Super Bowl, we bring it up all the time. You're closer than you ever have been in a long, long time to being a legit, a team that not only makes the playoffs but wins in the playoffs, especially the way this division is playing out, especially, is Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay, all this stuff going up in the air. So now it's time to reinforce. And again, at the end of the day, I just look back and go, I trust Brad Holmes, whatever he does, until we need to criticize him.
There you go.
That's the bottom line. We don't need any of this garbage. I'm more concerned about, honestly, my focus is who out there are we going to try to go after, right? Is it one of these Tampa Bay, whether it's the cornerback Jamal Dean, or is it the linebacker Levante David, or is it somebody like that? That's where the focus should be, right? Not you have your quarterback, you have your guys. So to me, it's not even a conversation.
And here's the deal with all this now, with the window. From the windows to the walls, with this window for
Till sweat drops down my balls.
with this window for the Detroit Lions, little yin yang twins for everybody here on a Wednesday morning.
Roll down.
This happened quicker than anybody thought it was going to happen to D-Mac. Like we talked about the clock, right? I was even pointing towards the 2024 when you had all the cap space. Because I didn't think it was going to happen like that. I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly.
You put
this
my
fast.
clock, into your mouth. Yes, exactly.
The good old days.
And you know what? And then you're eating it because you know what it is? It's the fact that you have competent people in charge. And that starts from Sheila on down, no matter what. We are living what we've seen other teams do, what Cincinnati has done. Except, they've done it to fruition to get to the Super Bowl and stuff like this. But how many times do we always hear, Neal? Right? In the NFL, you can switch it real quick. You can have the turnaround. It's built for that. We've never been involved because we've never had the people in charge that could bring you this. We have the people in charge. We have capable people from a coach to a GM. We are living that turnaround rate now. So don't screw it up and do things that teams do to screw it up, right? Just sit here. Brad Holmes, to me, Neal, doesn't it to you, like you said, you thought it'd be longer, but doesn't that go to my point about look at who's in charge and the way that they've gotten this worked out? And that goes to the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. That goes to them figuring out the right coaches in there, because they fired 2 over the last 2 years that weren't right. That means they were trying to get it right. They're trying to get their offensive line right, their defensive line right in the offices. And I think that that's where it started, right? We always talk about, wow, Sheila, she deserves her flowers. That's where it starts at the top. So we're living what everybody has said, and we've watched every other team around this league do. Worst to first, right? We're there. So don't screw it up. Let's get better. Let's get better. That's why I think the free agent splash or whatever we do could dictate into what's coming. We'll know more.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Tim France says Country Club Neal is making valid points today. I thought I made valid points every day. I guess not. Chuck Brewer says preach, Neal. Motown Cool says they can't stop it, Neal. They just can't do it. And that's the dynamic I don't understand. And again, this happened way quicker than anybody thought it would. Way quicker. They are the betting favorite to win their division by a pretty good margin. Just a shade over even money to win their division. It's time. It's time to go. And the reason they are is because of the quarterback play. Because what are you in the National Football League, D-Mac? What are you?
You are what your quarterback.
That's it.
You are what your quarterback does. You know, and that's the whole thing. See, everybody, and Brad Holmes is the first one. Ben Johnson, all these guys, they know they have to put things around Jared Goff, right? He ain't Patrick Mahomes and everything like that. But Jared Goff is the guy for your team, for this offense, and for everything like that. Now I watched last year, Neal. I expect the defense to be better coming out of the gate, which means instead of what 1-6, what do you expect to be 3-4, 4-3 at the worst? Boom, you put that in, that's 11, 12 wins, right?
Right.
Yeah, and isn't that what you need to win your division? What do you think is going to win the division next year? 11 or 12?
11.
11, right? 11 and 6, right? And you're set up when you're
10
looking.
10 could, by the way. 10 could.
10 could, right? Exactly. But and you would expect with the team that you saw at the end of the season, with the guys in charge, with free agency, with the draft, that you can get there. Do you think that that's worth 2 more wins, that you can improve on your team? You know, everything around. You got 2 more wins in there. I believe so.
Steve O'Baby says, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm getting sick and tired of not winning a playoff game in 31 years. It's Goff's second year as a Lions quarterback that just wrapped up. And you know what, Steve? This is going to be your best shot that you've had in a long time this year. Again, just Vegas knows, right? They put that number on the Lions. That's the thing that is tripping me up. And I knew it. I saw it. But only this week has it truly kicked in as we start in with this people start in with this Lamar Jackson nonsense. Only this week has it truly kicked in. The window's open. It's go time. Now. It's go time. Yeah, I mean, fire it up.
It's go time. That's why Lamar's no. It's no time for us. And here's the one thing, you brought it up, Neal, right? It takes 2 to tango. You know, whatever team might be set up, Atlanta. You know, I saw Brandon Katz say, well,
Atlanta's out.
It doesn't matter when Atlanta doesn't want to dance.
Yeah. Miami said that they're out. Hey,
the worst one is if Vegas said they're out, you're screwed.
The dance partners
are
drying
up. They take everybody.
Yeah. The dance partners are drying up quickly. And Baltimore never misses. Financially, they never miss, Benmo.
That's true.
They are always right. And yesterday, as this was all breaking with Lamar and the franchise tag, and I thought, wow. And Spot Track put out a tweet I thought was very, very good, where they said the Ravens are going to let somebody else do their dirty work.
Yeah.
Where they'll offer the contract and Lamar will sign it and they can just match it for less than Lamar wants. And hey, you went to market, man. Mm-hmm. This is what the market says you are.
It's like Le'Veon.
100%.
It's I heard something funny on that radio station around town when I was driving in today. I got to give them props. It's pretty funny. They're like, since Lamar's representing himself. Is he just calling NFL owners right now? Like, hey, you
Lamar.
want me? Like, I don't know how that works either.
Hey, it's Lamar.
Yeah.
It's Lamar here. Hello?
Hello? 2 first-round picks? 50 million a year?
Hey, it's Lamar. So my answer with the Lions and Lamar Jackson is no. But
hell no!
But my answer to Cintron is, oh, hell yeah. That's right. It's the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Right now, they have an exclusive offer for Woodward sports fans. The limited edition Red Wings 6-pack. $15, free shipping. Boom. Give it a spin. If you haven't tried it yet, it's all in there for you. You see it on your screen. Great tasting classic, sugar-free, or cranberry. So you know what? Why wait? Go to drinkcintron.com/Woodward. Drinkcintron.com/Woodward and try it today. All 3 flavors out there. That's drinkcintron.com/Woodward. $15, free shipping. Boom. It shows up on your porch. Give them all a spin. It'll be your go-to energy drink from here on out. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Ruhl here for Custom Health Centers. Our own Ryan Ermanni has started with Custom Health Centers. He's already ripped with a 6-pack. We're just playing a little bit right there with the fun with Photoshop, I guess you could say. But the reality is he is down over 15 pounds with Custom Health Center, and you can be too. They've had over 20,000 success stories at Custom Health Centers. They've helped former professional athletes lose weight. Pro Bowl MVP, and he's a kicker. Eddie Murray, he's found success with Custom Health Centers. My buddy Rick Mahorn, the biggest ball breaker in the world. He's down over 50 pounds with Custom Health Center as well. With them custom-made clothes he has, he's looking smooth as ever. Call Dr. Jason at Custom Health today. 844-789-8446. Again, 844-789. Then it's Custom Health Centers. Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Rachter here with you. And quarterback money is the name of the game, and we saw a lot of it get thrown around yesterday. I'm curious, and this is where I'll bring in Spenmo again, because I'm curious to know, because Daniel Jones signed yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
4 years, $160 million. I haven't seen the breakdown as far as, what the contract details are specifically. All we know is $82 million are guaranteed at signing.
Yeah.
Which means obviously he doesn't get $82 million at the time. The Giants have to cut a check. They hold an escrow, and Daniel Jones gets it whenever the benchmarks call for him getting it. My understanding is it's a very team-friendly cap number because all the signing bonus is going to be stretched out over that 4 years. So it could be one of those scenarios where we see Daniel Jones with a $15 million cap hit this year in year number 1. 15? I mean, it could be low. So I would assume Easy was for it, right? Very low cap hit.
He did not like it.
No, why not?
We haven't seen the cap results.
Right, but that's what I'm hearing. It's going to be around that $15 million thing.
Yeah.
So 6% of the cap, whatever that comes out to be, he should be happy, right?
Yeah. You gave him $160 million. Did not like it.
Oh. But I was told if the cap number is low, it's good.
I mean, it's still a $160 million deal.
But not the first year.
Yeah.
So he's off it?
He did not like it, no.
Okay. But the point of the story is this. And the Daniel Jones deal, D-Mac, isn't even necessarily that bad. And let me give you the why. Because we talk about quarterback markets. So this is my time. This is my time, Spenmo. Here's the deal. 2 years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago, Dakota Rain signed his contract with the Cowboys. And they gave Dakota Rain $40 million a year 2 years ago when the salary cap was $180-ish million. Now it's $225-ish. And Danny Dimes just got $40 million a year.
Well, the people don't understand that
the price
top
of playing
goes
poker.
up.
Right.
So, again, it's more to the percentage, but automatically we see it with wide receivers, corner, everybody, that when somebody signs. How many times we could go back to the benchmark where Matthew Stafford at $26 million was the highest paid quarterback in the league? How long ago was that? 5 years ago?
Something like that.
Something like that, around that, and look at it now, it's almost doubled.
Right.
I mean, it goes to the question is, can you afford it on your cap? And that's all it is, working these guys in. And because, everybody says, well, the cap's not real or whatever. Well, it is real. Braylon told you as a player it's real. You don't agree with it, but you understand how it
Ask the
needs to work.
Chiefs if it's Sam Flannel. Is the cap real as a Chiefs guy?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't real, you'd want to bring back Frank Clark and Orlando Brown. But you can't do it.
Right.
But again, the Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls. So the cap works. So this was just everybody. Neal, I asked you this yesterday, and I always say there is a time where everybody has to pay the piper, right?
Right.
No matter what it is, no matter how long you put it off. Would you say that the Chiefs were able to maneuver with everything and put everything off until now, when they had to say, "Okay, Frank Clark, thanks, but no thanks," and Hargrave or whoever else Orlando Brown, was it, or who?
Yeah, but the deal is with
Big
the Chiefs
guys.
though, they knew this. The Mahomes deal is pretty team friendly, as a 10-year, $450 million contract can be. He doesn't hold them hostage for a ton of bonuses on there and stuff like that. And they'll even be able to find some cap relief this year because he's got a $34 million roster bonus. They'll just convert that to a signing bonus and break it up into 5 years. So boom, right there you're going to get $27 million in cap space that you're able to add on, which is what surprised me about the Clark thing and the Brown thing. I figured one of them, they'd be able to find a way for one of them to stay. But what else have the Chiefs done, Sam Flannel? Who was a very good player for the Chiefs last year that they ended up counting on a lot?
Creed Humphrey.
Who else?
Isaiah Pacheco.
Boom. Yeah. There you go.
All kinds of rookies.
Nick Bolton.
George Karlaftis. Trent McDuffie.
Yeah.
You
see what I'm saying?
All Leo
rookies.
Chenal. Yes.
All rookies. So I like my chair.
Well, that's exactly what it is. They've realized we thought it'd be like, oh, these are all the old expiring contracts and these guys, but they've replenished because they've drafted. So their draft team and the people that drafted, they've done like we've done. They've done like Seattle's done. They're getting players out there, not just one guy they draft out of 7. They're getting 4 and 5 and being effective and Super Bowl champions. And what are you sitting there if you're the GM right now at Kansas City that you've won the championships and stuff like this? You got all these guys under their rookie deals, right, Neal? So there is flexibility to everything else. I think that the biggest thing, and this is what's hurting Lamar, right? We're hearing about all these quarterbacks that are signing or we're talking about that have contracts. They're all team friendly or negotiable or working with the team to help the rest of the team. Lamar doesn't have that. He's the old school guy out there. What are you going to do to help my team? No, you're only going to hurt your own team or hurt another team that can't sign you. You know what I'm saying? So everybody else seems to be playing along, and I believe this is why at the end of the day, especially when you're dealing with this much money, and I know you have a question, but you don't have your mom or you represent yourself. You need somebody else in there fighting for you for all that stuff, because now it gets personal. And for sure, right now it's personal, and at the end of the day, the clarity when it gets personal. I don't have clarity when I take things personal, right? I'm tunnel vision.
You don't, D-Mac?
No, absolutely. You see that, right? So, I mean, I don't see how this ends. And I think as I look at a bigger picture with this, because all these quarterbacks, even to the fact, like you brought up Dakota Rain, right? Is there flexibility with that contract, or that's more team friendly?
They've already juiced it once.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they're all these teams are juicing. That's what it is. They're juicing. Who's juiced their quarterback? And that's something as you see is where it could work.
You're going to hear this term.
You're
going to hear this term a lot. They're going to rename that. It's going to be called cap conversion. That's going to be the terminology, and you guys are going to hear the
you got
ish
some
out of
CC,
this.
not Canadian Club. You got some cap conversion.
Yeah, cap conversion is going to be it's going to be the one that you hear all the time. What's funny too is, speaking of cap conversion, because you're going to hear that with the Dallas Cowboys a lot. All the people I listen to and stuff like that, they're saying like the Cowboys are going to be lining things up to make a move. Like they'll be in the mix for Jalen Ramsey, and you look at it and you see their cap table, and as they sit right now, they're like $19 million under the cap, and they've got a bunch of moves that they're going to have to do. Like they're cutting Tyron Smith. That's happening. Tyron Smith.
I mean, he's past his prime.
It's going to be cut.
I mean, I don't think that's a terrible move right now. He was once arguably the best left tackle in the NFL, but he's kind of been injury prone and past his prime. But they got to replace him with somebody.
Right. As far as Dakota Rain goes, he's gonna be up soon too. To where he's got like a couple of dummy years on the end of his contract right now. You're gonna have to make your move there as well. So
in the cold Dakota rain.
It'll be interesting to see, because I think Tyron Smith will get cut, Zeke Elliott will get cut. That'll save them a lot of money, and they're expected to be players, man, in all this. OBJ, Jalen Ramsey, the Cowboys are going to cowboy. Be ready.
To be fair, though, if the Cowboys can get Jalen Ramsey and Jalen Ramsey plays like he has been, that defense with Jalen Ramsey and Micah Parsons, that's dangerous. I know we want to mock the Cowboys, but that would be dangerous.
Did you just say the Cowboys gonna cowboy, baby?
They absolutely will. They absolutely will.
Because of sleep all day.
Woodwardsports.com chat thread. Bob's Big Boy makes a great point, and he just summed it up for me, and we're going to get to it after Spenmo tells us about what we should do for lunch today.
Well, if you want lunch, there's only one decision you have to make. And that's where to find out where Cousins Maine Lobster is. And you can just scan that QR code right there. Because Woodward Sports is brought to you by Cousins Maine Lobster Detroit. Check out their food trucks rolling around the city, offering the tastiest lobster rolls, lobster tacos, and Terry and my favorite lobster grilled cheese. Go to cousinsmainelobster.com to search locations and find Detroit's schedule, or download the app and order ahead and earn points. You can even scan that QR code right there and figure out where they are rolling around the city. Make sure you check out Cousins Maine Lobster.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts to professional technicians who take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your need. But I need you to call Guardian Alarm today. The number, 1-800-STAY-OUT. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call anytime, a day or night. Know that a Guardian team member, yes, a real person, We'll stay on the phone as long as you're needed. But I need you to call the number, 1-800.
Stay out.
Technology backed by people. Yes, real people. Again, human beings. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people, real, live people who have been proven to care. Anything, business, personal, it doesn't matter. You could even have flannel protection like our boy Sam Flannel. How many straight days of flannel protection?
228.
228 straight days of flannel protection. You got something needed protected. Guardian Alarm are your people, but I need you to give them a call. The number, 1-800.
Stay out. Stay out of the Pistons lineup forever, Killian Hayes, please.
Jesus.
Aggressive. Guardian Alarm, they're aggressive too. Your local security experts. Tell them Big D Energy we sent you.
All right, back at it. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter. We're talking quarterbacks. We're talking money. And Daniel Jones got his money, $82 million guaranteed. Derek Carr got his money. Geno Smith got his money as well. And where does Jared Goff fit in all this? I find it weird how people forget that he's under contract still for 2 more years. I think that's weird, but they do, and it's a big lightning rod discussion. Lamar Jackson saga is unfolding. The Baltimore Ravens going to let everybody else do their dirty work. They non-exclusive franchise tagged him, so he's free to negotiate. The Ravens can match any offer, or they can let him take that offer and get 2 first-round picks as compensation. The kicker on that is you have to have 2 first-round picks available in the next 2 drafts.
They got to be either 2 this draft or 1 this draft.
One the draft and one the draft after.
Lamar's sort of screwed. Like,
the market's limited.
What is the time frame expectation you expect? Do you expect it before free agency hits in a week? Right? What do we got? 6 days? When is NFL?
March 15th.
March 15th, right? So that is a week from today.
Yep.
Okay? So do you expect something to go down, or what happens when it doesn't go down? Does he have to sign? Do they franchise tag him, or?
Well, they have franchise tagged him.
So really,
if nothing happens, he plays for $32 million if he plays, because you get a little bit of a break when you non-exclusive franchise tag.
But is this something where Lamar would sit out?
If he says he would.
If they did, that money goes against their cap, right? Or no?
Yeah, because of the cap hold. So they wouldn't be able to.
So who's in a better situation here? Are they both in a?
It all depends.
Is this a bad situation?
Is Lamar willing to die on the hill? And you know what I mean when I say die on the hill.
I believe he is.
You think so? What do you think, Spenmo? You think he'll die on the hill?
I think so.
I think he's already proven that. I think when you don't have an agent, you've proven that. Don't know? Am I out of line?
I don't know.
I think it's always been about I'm getting my $50 million or whatever like this. The biggest thing is that who's the suitor? There isn't one.
Because it can't be the Dolphins because they don't have 2 consecutive first-round picks.
Right, that's who's
so
the suitor.
The Falcons said they're out. The Broncos are out. The 49ers are out because they don't have the draft they don't have the draft capital to be able to do it. The Rams are out. The Falcons say they're out. We're running out of teams here. You know what I'm saying? The Washington football team, they said they're out. They'll roll with Sam Howell. And you know what? I'm glad we got to that. Hey, that's what they're going to do. Howell's what? 5th rounder, 6th rounder, 4th rounder?
4th, I think.
Okay. Immaterial. It's all the same. It's basically all the same.
It's all the same.
So this is what the people want, right? Like the people that say, I'm out on Goff or whatever, draft a quarterback to his replacement. That's the Washington Commanders are going to run that. We're going to see that play run by them this year. They're going to run with Sam Howell at quarterback. That's the move. Would you do that, or would you run Tyler Heineke at $20 million? Because that's his value. What would you do, Sam Flannel?
Probably Taylor Heineke at $20 million, depending on the cap situation with Washington. Although Taylor Heineke, he hasn't really, I don't know, there's something about him. The team just kind of wins these random games when he's their quarterback. But I've never liked.
Is he the second luckiest quarterback ever?
I don't think he's lucky. I just think he's kind of, I don't know, it's one of those guys that the team sort of galvanizes around, especially when your other option this last season was Carson Wentz, who has turned into the exact opposite. But if if you're the Commanders running it with Sam Howell, good luck.
I would be more apt for Washington instead of like Lamar to where are they picking, and do they have enough to get one of the 4 quarterbacks move up? You know what I'm saying? Are they a team that could do that? Are they in that shape? Who knows? Until the ownership situation there, I mean, with Dan Snyder and all that stuff's resolved. But are they a team, Neal, that you could see going to get one of these 4 quarterbacks in the draft, or are they sort of hamstrung that way?
Which team is it?
Washington. Yeah, but with no like what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know the draft. You know what kind of.
Right, but I'm just saying off the top of my head, with you're going into the season with Sam Howell, does that mean that you have some, you know?
They're picking 16, so all the shiny QBs will be off the board.
Well, that's what I mean.
Then.
But do they have any?
And
pieces?
They just took one. Like they just took Sam Howell. You know?
No, I get it. And they're going to run with him, so they got bigger things to worry about.
And
I honestly thought, and I heard this, and I know this was more tongue in cheek, but wouldn't surprise me if like Dan Snyder on his way out did something like that to whoever he sold it to. I could see the Spice Store.
So I bring up the Commanders for this reason, and I illustrate that situation because this is their reality. They're pretty much painted into the corner of Sam Howell or Taylor Heineke at $20 million a year for whatever because he's a free agent. Bob's big boy. Goff is about to be the 20th highest paid quarterback in the NFL by next year. Just shows the genius of Holmes that we have him under contract at $30 million for the next 2 years. Top 5 stats at a number 20 salary is value. And that's all I ever asked for. And that's why I've been higher on Goff than maybe some other people have, because it is a value. Look around. Look at the money these guys are getting. It's a great time to be a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
It's a great time to be a quarterback.
Receiver.
Or a receiver.
Or a quarterback. Or an end. A lot of positions is good to be.
But what do all those positions revolve around? The quarterback
Absolutely.
position. That's what it is. And it's value. He's creating value. Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, possible gold jacket guys on rookie deal, first year of rookie deals. Jared Goff, value. You see what I'm saying? Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Best value,
the biggest
in the league.
value in the NFL.
In the NFL, arguably.
That's where it is, guys. I'm letting that man cook. I'm not in the market of giving away draft capital. Not in it. Not in it. And look, even me, like a Jalen Carter simp, Will Anderson simp. We're trying to push that narrative, right, to get 4 quarterbacks in the top 5. Even me with that, if you told me the only way to get Will Anderson or Jalen Carter is to trade up, I would say no. Let my man cook. I'm not taking away from Brad Holmes.
Well, here's the one thing, and I think you're the one, especially here, as explained it. Remember when Goff was extended, and you sat here and go, I don't get it. Right, I don't get it. And then it played out in the last, for our clock, for everything else, it played out in the wash. Oh, because you came to the point where you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Which, okay. So Brad Holmes, like the chat threader said, you got Goff 20th highest paid quarterback, producing at the 5th highest, right? So my point is, I believe Brad Holmes has already thought ahead and had this conversation about what's the next move with Goff, and it doesn't have to be done now, but it would be something probably end of the season into next year where you're extending it, so it gave you more flexibility to the cap, right? Because he's done it already with them, right? That we didn't see coming. We always go, what the was that? And then it's, to that point, I think we're going to see a lot more moves like that, because does he not have to think ahead, a la Steve Yzerman, about some of these young guys, right? We're talking about when Hutchinson's and the Sewells and the Amon-Ra St. Browns and all these guys that are stalwart parts, you have to pay them. It's got to work out, right? So do you believe that Brad Holmes has thought ahead? I do.
No, there's whatever's
going to, right? So again, right, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jared Goff to be that $40 million, $35 million, but still be the value, right? We're still going to be the value. He might be 10th high or 12th highest paid, and maybe he regresses and only the 7th best. But that's good enough to win. That's good enough to win. This guy, Brad Holmes, guys, and more is telling you that Jared Goff is your guy, so either get with it or I'll just keep putting guys around him and make the salary cap. That's why this free agency, obviously, defensively, can we sign a guy, right? Because what I'm looking for, Neal, is that name guy, but it also shows what Micah Parsons was dogging Detroit about, that no one wants to play here. I'm going to show you after whoever we sign in free agency that, yeah, there is interest here in Detroit, and things have changed. So a lot of different things that had to change, but they are. And I go back to my point. We are in the middle of what we've watched every other team do, the turn and burn. We're right in the middle of it. Our window is now. Yeah. So to your point, do not take anything away from this man. Let him cook.
And he's the reason you're in this spot.
That's what it is. He's your best. All the guys have developed on the field. Really, your MVP out of your whole organization is Brad Holmes.
He's the reason that this thing all flipped because he knocked it out of the park with a couple drafts. Chuck Brewer says, Neal, come on. Brad Holmes is only hitting like 80% on his draft picks after the first round. Don't most GMs hit it 100%? LOL. You'd think the way people just want to give away assets that Brad Holmes could work with to get Lamar Jackson here. And look, I like Lamar Jackson. I do. I had him on the fantasy squads last year and everything like that. I like Lamar Jackson. I don't like my $50 million a year guaranteed for 5 years, giving up 2 first-round picks to do it. There's a value analysis that needs to come into play with all of it. I'll tell you where you get some good value. Seafood Fest at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Get the favorites during Lent, the shrimp Alfredo, the shrimp stir fry, and the all-new fish sandwich as well. And don't forget the point of all this, Spenmo knows, the all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet on Friday nights. How much tartar sauce you use, Spenmo, on a piece of fish? How many, you know those little paper tartars? What do you use, 2?
Probably for one piece of fish? Yeah. No.
One to one?
1 to 1, yeah.
1 to 1 ratio? Mm-hmm. Okay. See, I'm skewed because I will use it on the French fries from time to time. Okay. I'm built like that, son. Fair. I'm built like that. And don't forget, as we said, the all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet on Friday nights. Get to your local Big Boy for the Seafood Fest today.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to WoodwardSports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to WoodwardSports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you find the cleanest salons in the D. Spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club. Get all the best deals. They'll beat the competitors' prices by at least $5. And you can get the Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Cal Tan, and Swedish Beauty Lotions. Also, go to chilipepperstanning.com. Find out which one of the 27 locations work best for you. Chili Peppers Tanning, the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. They are your vitamin D headquarters. It's Chili Peppers Tanning. Pulling up on the second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. If you're just jumping in, appreciate you. You missed a pretty good first hour, though. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel. We got Spencer Raxter in the building. JB Smoove has stepped in for a second. We're partying here. on a Wednesday. If you missed the first hour, here's a move. Subscribe to the podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, all of it. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports. Click subscribe. All the episodes go right to your phone. Rewind, fast forward, whatever you want to do. It's all out there for you. Here's a question. DJ Chark, free agent. Where do we sit right now with DJ Chark? I'll ask the chat, too. Where do you guys sit? WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Jump in there. Get your thoughts out there. Where do you guys sit with DJ Chark? And I'll ask the question, and I'll give you some data, some information. Spot Track, which is, my Bible that I run with, they got his market value at just under $10 million per year. They say a market value contract with him would be 3 years, $29 million. How are we feeling about that, guys? How are we feeling about that, boys?
You know what?
We're double clutching.
Well, no, and it always has been, because I don't know if I expected him to be back or whatever. Isn't there salary cap if you do get rid of him? Your dead cap hit because of what you paid him last year, $6 million or something like that. You have money on if you do not retain him, you owe money on the cap, right?
Yeah, I believe they kicked back, they dummy yeared some of the bonus.
Right, so yeah. It's like a $6 million. To me, is he that guy? Like, healthy and second half of the year, yeah, it worked. Again, I mean, to me, I could go either way. I'm not sold on it. I guess. What's the rest of the team? Is there another plan? Right? Is there another plan? Are you planning on drafting a wide receiver later? Is there somebody that you like that's cheaper that can fill that role? So, I'm still up in the air. Can I say Canada? I'm going to be Canada right now. I'm going to be Canadian.
No, right here, right now, D-Mac.
Like Switzerland.
He's got 2 deals on the table. The Atlanta Falcons are offering him a little more, but he's digging what's going on here.
Is he part of the? But isn't that money? Don't you need that money to spend it on defense? Now maybe there's something. Again, it goes down to, at the end of the day, what does Brad Holmes want to do? What's Brad Holmes' plan? Because the money's a little bit high. Don't you agree?
I mean, it's less than what it was last year.
Or I get it. So
in a market where pass catchers are operating at a premium, did you see enough the second half of the year?
Yeah, but there's other things around, right? So if I re-sign him, am I taking playing time and development away from Jameson Williams? Right? Like, who is it for? Is Chark gonna? He's supposed to be your speed and your deep threat. So I'm looking to develop a guy is gonna take away from that. So I don't know what the game plan is, but right now, right here, Neal, I'm letting him exercise his option.
Your highest paid receiver right now this year is Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, but that don't mean crap because I got one of the best receivers there that is up because I've done Brad Holmes things. So even though you're Khalif Raymond, so again, I say no. If you're gonna make me choose, I'd say no. He's not worth the money. We can get that other place. Is Josh Reynolds under contract?
I'm looking at that right now. I believe. Let me see here.
Because he would be a lot cheaper in possession. We know the way that he works sort of with Goff. So, I mean, Neal, it's one of these things that either way.
Yes,
right?
he is.
What's that?
3.9.
You know what I'm saying? So, Reynolds, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, you got Khalif also there as your 4. You draft another guy. Is that good enough for you? If not, then, do you take Chark? Because you know what he's got. Obviously, healthy. During the second half of the year, there was something more there, but...
He was different, no doubt. Sam Flannel, where are you at with it? That's what's on the table. Because I see on the WoodwardSports.com chat where, like Connor Bennett says, No, unless it's 3 years at $8.5 million. No, that's not going to get it done. The Falcons are on the phone with them. This is what you got to do. Are you doing it or no? Like David Gerald says, I'd sign Chark to a 2-year, $10 million per. David, don't talk about the free agency stuff anymore, okay? That's an insult to DJ Chark. What do you got, Sam Flannel?
I would not sign DJ Chark. And a lot of it has to do with the fact
Tom Kennedy, because we got Tom Kennedy.
Yes.
I know, Sam.
No, that is not at all why. But that's all right. The thing about DJ Chark is last year his injury issues, which they plagued him for 1 year in Jacksonville. They kind of reared their ugly head. He missed 6 games. Obviously, when he was on the field, he was a difference maker. He had over 90 yards receiving in 3 games. Jared Goff hit a couple of deep shots to him. But I think this has to be the year where Jameson Williams shows out and breaks out and becomes a large part of this offense. I need all of DJ Chark's targets to go to a guy like Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams last season, while it was injury plagued, he did play in 6 games and caught a grand total of 1 pass. And he sat around and watched his draft mates, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, both have 1,000-yard seasons. Drake London had over 800 yards. Christian Watson and Jahan Dotson were both good in spots, although Jahan Dotson had some injuries and Christian Watson, it took a while for him to develop. So I think this is the year where Jameson Williams needs to break out. I don't think DJ Chark should be a priority. I think Jameson Williams' development should be what gets the priority, and he should be the one that gets all of those targets, because I think that he was the best wide receiver coming into this draft, and the Lions traded up to get him. So because of that and because of what DJ Chark is going to cost, I would say no.
And I'm seeing a lot of this too, the Allen Lazard fan group that's out there right now. Lazard's contract, they got him pegged about $12.5 million a year market value.
Absolutely not.
So you're talking 3 at 37. You see what I'm saying here? It's easy for everyone to sit up here and say, sign this guy, don't sit that guy. I'm putting the screws to all of you right now. This is real world stuff. You want the big boys to talk, you want the adult talk, that's what we're doing right now. We're not just going to give you a mock draft every day and tell you what we think and trade this and move that. No, I'm talking real world stuff right now. Does that move your needle anymore, D-Mac? When I tell you the Allen Lazards of the world are going to cost you $12.5 per. Does that move you at all with DJ Chark?
It moves me towards what Sam Flannel was saying is what is the conversation coming out of with the Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson. How are they going to use, right? If he re-signs because he's in the game plan and they do something, so it's more cap friendly. If you just told me that he's got offers on the table, but he likes what's going on here, is he going to work with the team for whatever else? So my big thing is all I'm thinking is, as long as it doesn't take away from the development, like Sam said, Jameson Williams, then I'd think about it. Yes, at that number with what everybody else is getting, I wouldn't pay Lazard that, and I wouldn't pay Allen Robinson, and I like Chark out of all those guys the most.
What about Juju Smith-Schuster at $14.5 million?
No.
So all these arguments are making
Chark's
look
looking
better.
a lot better, man, by the second, isn't he?
So these are Brad Holmes questions, right?
Right.
These are the things that you're asking me that Brad Holmes knows. So in Holmes we trust. That's all I'll say.
15, right?
No, Spot Track's got him pegged about 9, the upper 9s.
Upper 9s?
They're saying 3 at 29 will get it done. The injuries, the production, the lack of the production, man. You got to play full season to put these numbers up. And there was an Allen Lazard contingent out there that jumped. No, I'll take Lazard. Lazard's 12.5.
I just feel like there's no way Lazard gets 12.5 and Chark gets 9.
It's what Spot Track does, man.
Yeah.
It's what they do. They're closer to right than they are wrong. Jacoby Myers, 12.5 a year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, if you're going to pay 12.5, I'd rather pay him.
I'd rather pay Myers than Lazard.
Than Chark, the durability and
No
stuff
doubt.
like that. That to me, out of anybody, that 12.5, there's your value.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. People are talking to what would DeAndre Hopkins cost us? Now you're talking about draft
Second
capital.
round pick.
Yeah,
is what they're asking for.
That's what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me too. When's Amon-Ra? Peaceful Tim. When is Amon-Ra St. Brown due? Amon-Ra has 2 years left at $2 million total.
That's crazy.
how we just said that Juju Smith-Schuster's market is like $14.5 million?
Yeah.
Amon-Ra sitting over here making $1 million a year.
But just get ready because his market's going to be 20+ when he gets 2 years.
If he rolls out and catches another 100 I mean, how can it not?
I don't see him slowing down. I see that that sort of consistent. The only thing is the availability, obviously, right? But with the work ethic and I mean, he's durable, he's tough, so I'm glad we got him. And here's the sad thing, Neal, is you'll find out 2 more years before you really have to make that decision, right? So hopefully it catches really if you want the reality of it is that 100 balls this year and 100 balls next year should get you closer to winning the division and closer to that NFC championship and stuff like that. But then what are you going to do after that?
Jipniz says, this is the real world, bozo. MMS 1346, signed Chark to a 3-year deal with an out after 2 with limited dead cap. That's the year St. Brown will need to get paid. Well, MMS, that's not the market. The market's a 3-year deal, just south of $30 million. I was very much on the hard pass with DJ Chark. I don't know, Spenmo. This was good that you dropped this on here, man.
Yeah, if you're telling me it's only 9.5, I'm saying for sure do it.
You're in.
Yes, 1,000%.
All right.
If healthy, he's the best receiver on the market.
That's bold.
It's true.
Yeah, I'd say Juju and Jacoby, or maybe but they're obviously going to ask for more money. If DJ Chark, his value, if they were to get him for 9.5, I get what you're saying.
No love for Sammy Watkins out there in the free agent market, huh?
God. I loved him so much coming out of college. I thought he was going to be great.
I do love spinning through all these names here. Marvin Jones, anybody?
40 years old. I like Marvin Jones, but he's getting up
Julio
there.
Jones, anybody?
He's a corpse.
Oh, that's fun.
Isn't Jarvis Landry out there, too?
Jarvis Landry's out there. N'Keal Harry, remember him?
Oh, my God.
Actually, Sam Flannel has a new wide receiver 1 that he wants to bring to Detroit.
What about Jim? You see him right there. The pasty gangsta.
Pasty gangsta.
Snatching the rock, man.
He was good as a QB in Indianapolis for.
He was.
Yeah.
He was, man. Isn't he in their Ring of Honor or whatever at Indy?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far, but they made a little bit of a run in the mid '90s.
They were a dropped knockdown Hail Mary away from going to the Super Bowl.
That's unbelievable.
People forget that.
People do forget.
They'll never forget about Swiss Insurance, though.
No, how could you? Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance, give us a shot and you won't be disappointed. Email them at mark@swissins.com. That is mark@swissins.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Keeping it pushing here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here with you. And, we're talking. We're just talking right now. The DJ Chark thing, Spot Track has his market value. They are very good at this. It's what they do. It's a computer formula based on production. And I know our eyeballs say no, but the stats don't lie. And it's based off production. Now, the fluctuation will be how much are you a believer that he stays healthy? What do you got, D-Mac?
Spenny. Spenny calling Juju Smith-Schuster more like doo-doo shit poopster. You're right. He popped me.
Yeah.
No, the more we break it down, and if like Spenny said, at 9.5, I think you gotta nail it down. But if these other guys are getting more, you gotta think there's more on the table. And again, it goes down to what you said, Neal. The number one thing is if DJ Chark said he likes what's being built here, then he knows exactly what you're saying of why the offer would be less, but he would be more for it at the age and where he's at. So at $9 million, $9.5 million, even $10 million to the deal he had, it seems to work. It seems to work out because what are your options? Draft a guy and get him and hope he turns out like Amon-Ra St. Brown, or go with what you know and hope he stays healthy.
What about that though? Because as we're sitting here kicking these numbers around, it's just stuff that pops inside my head. We're kind of freestyling a little bit today, Spenmo. What about this? Say the Lions address the cornerback issue in free agency, right? Say they go to free agency and sign one.
Like Jonathan Jones or somebody.
Whoever.
Yeah.
Whoever. Can I interest you in Jordan Addison with that 18 pick?
No, I'd rather have Quentin Johnston.
Well, he's going to be gone. In my world, he's going to be gone.
You think so?
Yeah.
How tall is Jordan Addison?
It's like 5'11".
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like, you know how tall Amon-Ra St. Brown is?
Yeah, but I don't need another Amon-Ra St. Brown. I need somebody 6'2" plus who can throw jump balls too and fades in the end zone.
Okay, I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there into the universe. Because
but I think to your point, Neal, the question is, right, you go out free agency, you make a splash for a cornerback or linebacker or somebody that you thought you might had to have drafted with the 18th pick or focused on, you could change that focus. Is there a receiver out there? To the fact, like if Brad Holmes went with Jordan Addison, then obviously there's something there that he liked, but does it open up to drafting a wide receiver there? Maybe. That's why I say next Wednesday, after the free agency, let's reevaluate, because your perspective of what you think Brad Holmes is going to do and what we need on this team will change.
And there is a lot of discussion in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread about the value of drafting a receiver. And I think drafting a receiver is almost, and we're finding this, right, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, is almost like the quarterback light. It's almost like the offensive tackle light.
Well,
it's almost like the edge
because
rusher.
They're going to shoot to $25 million real soon. I mean, it is the quarterback light where the contracts are going.
Right here, right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown or Christian Kirk? We all know the answer to that.
Yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown easily. Christian Kirk had a great year, though.
He did. But he's north of 20. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's big-time money. It's big-time money. Man, the more I start to think about this, and we hear that, right? Like, Spenmo, that's what we're hearing, the cornerback discussion with the Lions in free agency, right?
Yes.
It's out there in the streets. If you put your ear to the streets just right, if the wind's right, you can hear it.
Because we've talked about, I know, Brad Holmes wasn't responsible for free agent acquisitions and trades and stuff at the Rams, but he comes from that Rams camp that instead of drafting young cornerbacks, they went out and got Akeem Talib. They went out and got Marcus Peters. They went out and got Jalen Ramsey. So is that his philosophy? I don't know, but he comes from the camp of getting veteran cornerbacks.
Because it makes sense fiscally.
Yes.
Right? Remember when we were talking about the safety situation with Hamilton and with what the Ravens were doing? That's why I was out, because I'm not giving them $10 million when I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll give one I know 17, but I won't give one I don't know 10. It's just it seems to be more of a free roll with a receiver than it does with a cornerback. And we're seeing this positionally with the running back situation, D-Mac. Saquon Barkley's getting $10 million next year.
Yeah, they tagged him.
As a franchise tag, $10 million. They could tag him again next year, and it'll probably be about 13. So why would they ever sign him to a contract?
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Isn't that crazy? And that's why you're not going to see, like this, Todd McShay, whatever. I can't hate his hustle, right? Like, I'm not. But to say, like, Bijan Robinson's going to go 10, why? Who would do that? Why would you do that? The best in the game's getting $10 million on a franchise tag. You're going to pay 1.6, 5?
Yeah.
Or you run into the problem with Tennessee shopping Derrick Henry.
You couldn't
16.
give Derrick Henry away right now. Spenmo, what would you give for a $16 million cap hit running back?
If it's Derrick Henry,
yeah,
a 5th-round pick, maybe.
And you're more aggressive than most.
Yeah. If I'm the Bills, I'd do it.
I don't even think they could make that work, though.
Probably not.
You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no market. And we're about to see this with Lamar. All the teams have been crossed off the list, dude. You're only worth what somebody's willing to give you. It's D-Mac, it is. It's just, it's wild to me. And I guess the moral of the story is, circling it back, the DJ Chark thing is interesting at Spot Track's numbers. That's it.
No, absolutely. And I think the interesting thing even more is what the rest, right? So you got a week left in free agency. What were the real numbers? Forget Spot Track where they're speculating, but what are the real numbers when the first receiver signs for? Who do you expect it to be, and what do you expect that number to be? Is it setting the bar?
Yeah.
Or is it something that's more reasonable?
I bet Jacoby Myers gets a Christian Kirk contract.
Somebody steps in and overpays?
Yeah, from somebody.
Yeah, he would be the guy I would think would be that on the market coming from that system and being available.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't you be excited that he's only had Mac Jones throw to him, or like he hasn't had legitimately a guy you think a real quarterback? So
yeah,
I think that's just interesting. The biggest thing with DJ Chark though, and somebody put it in here, the quote about all the pieces are in place here. Right? And you got guys who are free agents talking about that, how they look in. They're not even technically a part of it. They just experienced it. That's a big deal, too.
I'm curious to get Spenmo's answer to this question. Jeb Large in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread said, if you draft Addison, what are you going to do with Jameson Williams, and why do we need 3 probably top 10 receivers? Because if Chark leaves, there's a hole.
Yes.
That would be my answer. What's your take on that, Spenmo?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You can never have enough receivers. On
rookie deals.
On rookie deals. Look at the Bengals. Like, the Bengals have 3 top 5 receivers, or top 10 receivers, and although they're different than what those 3 of the Lions receivers would be, like Chase and T. Higgins are down the field outside threats. You see what the Dolphins are doing with Waddle and Hill. It'd be similar to that. Because Amon-Ra's a slot guy. JMO, you can move around. That's why I don't really love the Addison thing, because I want, like I said, a 6'3" guy you can put out there.
So you don't have a problem with the position.
I don't have
the makeup.
It's the makeup.
The build, yeah. The Quentin Johnson
I
thing.
want a guy you could throw a fade to in the end zone. Like
the 50-50 ball.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is a funny one, because what are the Bengals going to do? He's a unrestricted after this year.
Yeah, he's going to get paid, too. Paid.
Pay him. Pay that man
T.
his
Higgins
money.
deserves it. He's a baller.
They got to sign Burrow, too.
They're signing Burrow to a $60 million contract pretty soon, too.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Cincinnati, man, they better get some
I
credit.
like what the owner said, though, right? When they were just talking about T. Higgins. Go get your own wide receiver, right? Get out of my wide receiver, which again, why do I bring that up? Because it's culture, right? Something that has changed. We look at Cincinnati, and they were the desolate team like us for a long time, but things have changed and attitudes have changed. And when it comes from the top, and I use that as an example that's our player, and you don't really see an owner come out like that, but that's what it's sort of evolving into here. We are there. So tough decisions that need to be made, but again, already thought of. Don't you think, Neal? Like all these things we're talking about in the past, without Brad Holmes' regime there, right? I wouldn't be sure if this question would be asked, whether it's Matt Millen, whether it's Bob Quinn or whatever, that they'd be having these conversations. With Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, and this staff, Sheila, these conversations and the hard questions are being asked. I think it dictates on who they can get or who goes and what the money is in free agency. Because it's really up in the air. Like, you can sport track it all you want, but at the end of the day, what do we usually see? Whether it's draft, free agencies, one of these owners is going to go off the reservation, so to speak, right?
No
and not
question.
do it by normal right? You mentioned the Dakota Rain. You mentioned the fact of that contract way back in the day. Remember when he signed that, we were all like, what is Jerry doing?
Yeah.
But it's Jerry being Jerry. So, to your point, let's just sit back and see what everybody else has done. And we don't have to be the first to the party. So,
real quick before we cut to the break, and you talk about tough questions, D-Mac. I have a tough question that's going to cut to your soul.
Ooh, nice.
And I'm curious to see you in the pressure cooker. I want to hear your answer to this. Real quick, Spenmo, about that Joe Burrow and $60 million. So the Bengals are going to be in a spot where they're going to be given $300 million guaranteed.
Yes.
Ish.
Somewhere like that.
250, 300-ish million guaranteed. Their ownership has to write that check that day and put it in an escrow account. The Brown family in Cincinnati is notoriously as cheap as they come.
Really?
Like, Mike Brown, I guess, is the owner. And this look, we're talking about astronomical money that none of us will ever understand. He's worth $925 million, right? So just south of a billionaire.
Yes. He's got to take a third of it.
They will have to write a check for $300 million and put it in an escrow account when that deal gets done.
How much is Cincinnati Bengals worth to sell? I'd be looking to sell.
Oh, got to be $4 billion. Yeah, got to be $4 billion.
I'd be out there. If he's that cheap, why wouldn't he sell? Instead, like you would look to that. So,
that's one of those things that nobody knows, that nobody talks about, and I'm curious to see how that shakes out with the Bengals, because he's going to have to do that. They don't just say, "Hey, we're good for it." That's not the way business works.
Yeah,
it gets dropped in an escrow account, and it gets paid out due to the structure of the contract. So that. It's getting crazy, Spenmo. Even the owners. You're talking about Joe Burrow's contract being a third of Mike Brown's worth. Who owns the Bengals.
That don't work? I owe you $300 million? Can I put that in the... You can see it, but it says, I owe you $300 million.
Yeah,
that won't work. Not in the NFL?
I don't think it does, D-Mac.
Oh.
I don't think it does.
Damn.
And then they got to pay Chase.
And T. Higgins.
And they're not paying T. Higgins. Definitely not. But you got to pay Chase. That's another $150 million.
But again, don't you expect with that
guaranteed?
Neal, won't it be when Burrow signs that? We see that more of a team friendly first to be able to keep guys around and stuff, or no?
I mean, maybe if it were Joe McCarty,
I think
Darren Burrow.
But here's the difference. From what all Joe Burrow has showed me from his time from going from Ohio State to LSU.
He just rolls with the vibe.
He rolls with the vibe, and he's about where he's at, right? When he was look at his last game when he did the Burrow EAUX on the back. Awesome. He's involved in the culture. This is specifically Joe Burrow, right? If this was honestly, we were talking Lamar Jackson. No, Lamar's going to take the 60 guaranteed and the $300 million. I think you see Joe Burrow working with Cincinnati because he's as much of that culture too. Yes, I think Joe Burrow is more like Darren McCarty than he wants to admit. Poor guy.
Yeah, because if it were Neal Burrow, there would be a different discussion.
Joe,
pay him. Pay
Dakota Rain.
His money.
Yeah,
Joe.
I refer you to my agent, Teddy KGB.
Yeah.
That'll just be running on a loop the whole time. That's all that matters.
Pay him.
Yeah.
Pay that man his money.
Hey, and I don't have to pay a lot to work out a lot at Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone, the official studio sponsor here of Woodward Sports. You work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The gym is clean. They're all the same all the way across. The level of upkeep at Planet Fitness, spot on. Whether it's here, South Florida, out west, anywhere I ever work out at a Planet Fitness, they're all on point. And Black Card membership, $24.99 a month. Get you access to over 2,000 Planet Fitnesses around the world. This isn't like some of these other joints that have a rock wall that because they have a rock wall are going to charge you $75 a month. It ain't like that there. $24.99 a month. Get into all of them around the world. Bring a guest with you anytime you want. You basically own Planet Fitness. You're not waiting for treadmills. There's tons of equipment. There might not be a stupid rock wall, but hey, you can get past that. I do every single time I work out at Planet Fitness. It's very, very simple. Go to planetfitness.com, join there. You'll pass a couple on the way home, pull in the parking lot, join there. It's Planet Fitness, Darren McCarty.
Well, your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Rackster here with you. Don't forget the Woodward Heavyweights with our guy Spencer Rackster. And easy, 5 to 7. The final word coming up from 2 to 4. I understand Terry Foster will be in with Braylon.
Wow.
That's going to be an electric show.
Great. Wow, look at you guys. Hey,
our
they
agents.
won't pay. Listen, I put in my contract that if I have to be in the room with Maz for longer than one segment, that the bag gets dropped to me. But that's just revisionist history, so you won't see me there too soon.
Klompsaw says he beat me straight up. Absolutely. Teddy KGB, that's a must-have on any drop board. Boy, our agents, Spenmo, are just dropping T-Foss and I in the arena, letting us tear each other to shreds, aren't they?
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I think you know a guy. The final word changed you, Neal.
It did change me instantly. As soon as they said, "Do you want coffee or water?"
Yeah,
I was like, "What is this?"
Wait, what?
I sat down there like,
Neal,
Who said it?
I'd rather not say. It was an employee. On the final word, did they call you guys workers or employees?
I get the water, right? But
Blackies.
wait, you're offering coffee too?
I was offered coffee.
When I walk every day next door to grab coffee and no one ever offers me coffee?
As do I.
All right.
Would you like coffee or water?
I see.
And I didn't know. I was uncomfortable, right? I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
It was like the first time I was on the Pistons team plane. They're like, do you want sea bass? And I'm like, no. No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Give me PB&J.
Yeah,
I'll take
fine.
I'm
like, I ate before I came. Like, I came onto the airport earlier and ate before I came.
That was a rookie mistake.
Shout out Dumb and Dumber, D-Mac.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So there you have it.
It's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy, but we're going at it right now. There is no doubt.
Oat milk lattes for men.
But I'm sure it is. It's a different. All I can say is it's a different world.
It is a different world
than what we get here.
Maybe scraps.
Maybe it's on us. Maybe we're
us.
at fault, Spenmo.
I don't know.
Sam Flannel. Maybe it's on us. D-Mac. Maybe we're to blame.
I mean,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm glad. Maybe Terry can get a bourbon. Maybe they offer him bourbon for that show. That'd be a great show.
No, I think that's on my 5th show.
Oh, okay.
Once I do it 5 times.
Oh, but they're saying there's a chance. I heard your conversation about Maker's Mart and Maz serving up Maker's Mart to his guests, which no wonder people don't go to his
and the way
house.
people responded to it. Spemo, you a bourbon guy?
Yeah.
You can be?
Yeah.
You're more Irish whiskey style, right?
I'm tequila.
More tequila, okay. Yeah. I felt bad because I think it came across as I was slandering Maker's Mark, which I'm not. It's just not my thing. You know what I'm saying?
I understood it more. Braylon didn't like Maker's Mart.
Yeah.
More than that. But
he slandered it more than I did.
That's there.
Yeah, there is no doubt about that. Michael Daniel wants to know real quick before I make DMAC uncomfortable with a tough question.
Chance.
This is a great one. Michael Daniel wants to know, Neal, has Austin Meadows hit a home run for the Tigers yet? Nope.
Three of us are still tied with most career home runs as a Tiger. How many do you have?
Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, and Austin Meadows all tied with 0 career home runs for the Detroit Tigers.
That's your Tigers update of the day.
And that was the
Spring
one.
Training.
That was the one Avila win that I thought, that I was convinced of.
You don't trade with the Rays.
We did do those shows, bud. We did do those shows.
The Rays are the Yzermans. I don't know what the area code is in Tampa, but if that area code pops up on your phone and you're a baseball GM, out of it. All right, enough of that. D-Mac, we're friends. Been friends for a long time. I do anything for you. You do anything for me. Proven that. But I'm putting you in a tough spot here. I'm putting you in a tough spot. This is a great question that Spenmo brings up. Who brings a championship to Detroit first? Brad Holmes or Steve Yzerman? Do we get a Lombardi trophy or do we get a Stanley Cup first in this town because of these two GMs? Which one delivers, D-Mac? There's no tapping out. There's no ring around the rosy. There's none of that stuff. Who brings a championship here first?
Well, since your question's between Brad Holmes and Steve Yzerman, I'll just give a shout out to my boy Trevor James in DCFC. So you're not in the conversation, Northern Guard. You heard the question that was answered, so I can't go into it. I'm going to break it down. Not a difficult question, right? Because what did I do? I put the clock on Yzerman that he did it in 8 years in Tampa. He's going to do it, improve 7 here. So he's got 4 more years, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that the Detroit Lions will make the conference championship, the NFC conference championship, before the Detroit Red Wings will make the Eastern Conference Finals, right? So I believe that, but I do believe that the Detroit Red Wings will be the first ones to raise a championship before the Lions. But it's going to be right around the same time. It wouldn't surprise me if it was the same year.
Give me the why.
Why is that? Because I trust in both guys. Here's the one thing, Neal, no matter what, I think that both teams, and starting with this Detroit Lions team, they're going to set the tone of not only making the playoffs, but foundationally being a playoff team, right? Which Steve Yzerman, I expect next year to be a playoff team, or else there's questions to be added, right? Slowly getting better. So both these teams are going to be contenders. I just think that the way that the Eastern Conference in hockey, with New Jersey, with New York, obviously with Boston, those 3 in the next 3 years, then you have the Ottawas, the Carolinas. It's tough sledding, right? You have the core, but it's going to take time to get there. You're going to make the playoffs as the Wings, right? You're going to get in there. I don't know if you're going to win that first series or not, but you're going to learn. It's going to take you 2 years to figure out the playoffs. So in 4 years, right, you expect the conference finals, but you can't expect championships on that. I got to go by history, is that we got to different places and we got to the finals and we lost, right? You asked me on championships. In saying that, I think that the Detroit Lions, we agree, have an opportunity to win the NFC North this year, to put them in that conversation. But again, until I see, like this question, Neal, ask me after free agency, ask me after the draft, ask me as we go along, because it could change. I'm going to go right now, 2027 is the Red Wings, and 27-28 is the Lions. Either or. So hold on. Well, I guess the Lions would win technically, but I think the Wings win 27 summertime, Lions win
That
January
following
28.
So you're calling for a full restoration of Detroit sports.
Oh, it's coming.
Just Kool-Aid man.
It's all of it, and even that time, at that point by 2027, the Tigers should be able to win 80 games, right?
No.
You don't think 5 years they win 80 games? All right, so a little ahead of ourselves, but the Pistons should be rocking and rolling, and maybe the Pistons. Right, again, they run into the Eastern Conference. Terry said that, but they're building too, right? So the questions are there. I think that the time frame, But again, if you're gonna ask me who has the pathway to do it quicker, it's the Lions. But who do I think gets it done? Because Steve Yzerman won't fall from that, because you still have to hit on this, and a lot of it has to do with the competition that's out there.
MLC 313 says, "Come on, I would run butt naked in the streets of the D if we got both." LOL. I don't think MLC would be alone out there. I think there would be.
I'll be there with you, brother.
Absolutely.
There would be a lot of nudity, full frontal nudity.
Here's the thing, Neal. You know what? I know that I said Yzerman because that's always my default and stuff like this. But seriously, if Brad Holmes, with what he's done because of the changeover, and if he makes a hit in free agency, and then we see this in the draft, my tune might change like that.
Well, I think whoever calls Alta will complete the Bog project first.
Well, you know why? Because uptime, it always matters, whether we're talking sports or whatever. Get back in the game. And if you're talking about equipment and your equipment goes down, Alta, they have you covered, because Alta equipment has everything you need to get whatever job you're doing done. You got a Bog project, like to say, you look outside, the weather's getting a little bit nicer, but the ground, it's got to be chopped up. Well, Alta Rent, they've got you covered. So give them a call today. 844, go to Alta. That's 844, go to Alta.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites, like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Make sure you check out the Foaling Warehouse, because it's the original home of the football bowling pin game called Foaling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play and private lane reservation for $120. If you get thirsty, they got a $2 mystery beer vending machine and multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So make sure you go check them out in Hamtramck or visit them online at foalingwarehouse.com.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter. Subscribe to the podcast page. And when you do that, rate and review it. Big D Energy on Woodward Sports. Leave that 5-star review if it's worthy of 5 stars. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your life, but help us out. Please. Just do it, please. Then you can rewind, fast forward the show, all that kind of stuff. Whatever you want to do. It's on your terms, so that's why it works. Happy to have you with us. Who brings a championship to Detroit first? Brad Holmes, Steve Yzerman. 67% of the people say Brad Holmes. I think real cream of wheat probably speaks for a lot of people, too. I just can't fathom the Lions winning a playoff game. Can you wrap your head around that, Spenmo?
Yes.
For real, though.
For real.
For real.
For real. I can.
I think we all can, because we were ready for it this year, right? We saw the difference second half of the year. The expectations of what Brad Holmes done to solidify that these are the right guys. What do you say, Neal? What's your answer to this question?
Clompsaw says, I'll rate it where? iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you get podcasts.
Anywhere and everywhere.
Anywhere and everywhere. I still have a tough time wrapping my head around that whole... Even, I talk about the odds all the time, right? It's what I base a lot of my takes off of, about the Lions and about which direction they should go. But I still am struggling with that concept. I'm struggling with the concept that they're the favorite to win the division. By far, too. I'm struggling with the concept that most of America, when they put their money down on a team to win the NFC, put that money down on the Detroit Lions. I'm struggling with that concept as well. So, but I do think it'll be Brad Holmes too. I do. He's got the formula, man. He's competent. Number one, he's competent. Okay? That's number one. Number two, he gets how it works. He understands draft capital and the value. What was his first thing he did when he came in here? And I would bet to say it was within the first 15 minutes of meeting with the Ford family or their representatives or whoever. Hey, we got to trade Stafford. That's the baseline of all this. We got to trade Stafford. And I got to get draft picks. And we got to dig our way out of this, what it is financially. I'd be willing to bet, we'll never know that answer, but I'd be willing to bet that was brought up in the first 15 minutes of his meeting. And he can evaluate talent. That's the thing. That's why we're having this discussion about Brad Holmes and Steve Yzerman. The bottom line is this. They can both evaluate talent. There's no Al Avilas in this formula. There's no Bob Quinns in this formula. There's none of these clowns that have been out there in the past doing these jobs. They're talent evaluators. And I don't have to hear about it. I see it. I see Penei Sewell. I see Mo Sider. I see Lucas Raymond. I see Aiden Hutchinson. I see it. I don't have to hear about it. I'm not told about it. I don't have to hear, well, if this can go on. No, they're out there. Let these guys, the rose, show us. They've shown you. Let these guys cook, D-Mac.
No, it is. Now it's about decisions to build the team together. So you have the right guys in charge, just who's going to do it quicker. It's set up in the NFL for Brad Holmes to go worst to first and to get it back quicker. Like I was saying before, is that I know it's Steve Yzerman. Steve Yzerman, his ordeal is to get it back to the way it used to be, right? The 25 years straight of playoffs, but contending like it was in the mid-'90s to the late 2000s, where you had a shot to win every year that you stepped on the ice at the beginning of the season. You were thinking playoffs, you were thinking Stanley Cup. That's his goal, to get it back to that. So that, as we saw this trade deadline, you're going to subtract some guys and you're going to lose some guys along the way, but it's going to make your team better, right? And that's what and it's a constant, slow and steady wins the race. Brad Holmes can make a bigger impact sooner. To your point, where the numbers tell you that this team, and I think Todd Sain said it, is the fact is that legitimately you could win, right? Like if you're telling me who's got a better chance to win the NFC, the conference, or the Wings win the Eastern Conference, it's the Lions.
All day.
All day. So if you're legit on that conversation, they have the quicker turnaround in the shot. Now, this is where the rubber hits the road, right? Sure, you can go out there at number 2 and draft that guy. At number 5, draft that guy. Doing things that you're supposed to do. Now it's putting the things, free agency, putting it together. Having the bag to be able to use the bag. This is the first time in free agency that Brad Holmes will have money off the books, will have everything else, and he can go out and say, I want to shape it this way. He's been handcuffed before, other than the draft. That's where he's shown out. Now he can show out in all departments.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, MLC313 says, just think though we sign Larkin long-term, why? The players we end up drafting won't be able to help Larkin until he's in his mid-30s. But MLC, you're forgetting about other 3 years of drafts.
Shut up.
The Edmondsons and all those
Back
dudes.
to sleep, bud. Back to sleep.
Stop it.
You're ridiculous.
Get some help.
In 2 years.
What's 2027? 1, 2, 3, 4 years? 4 years, all these guys in their prime. The Edmondsons, the Soderblooms, Kosa, who's tearing it up at Toledo. All these, come on, man. Idiots.
Sam Flannel, where are you at on this one?
I got to go with Brad Holmes as well.
Only because he has Aiden Hutchinson, right?
No, that's not. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is a large part of it, if we're being honest.
But Yzerman's got Dylan Larkin.
That is true.
Can I just say one other thing?
Yeah.
Guys, when you see what he's not drafting all these players, to your point. When you see the tangible physical evidence of a player at the draft or whatever that he uses all these picks for, then you go, oh, I get it now. Just wait. Yeah, I know you don't believe it because you can't see it. It's like having faith. It really is. So have faith in him. He's going to provide you that person. I expect it during the draft. Right? But again, to all your point, is Brad Holmes is doing it quicker, right? For all the same reasons.
It's easier
all
to
the
do
same
it.
guys.
The systems, yeah, you're right, Spenny. The system's set up better. All right, Sam Flannel, where are you at on this?
100%. And it's Brad Holmes for me because I think, and I know this sounds crazy and it's kind of hard for us to wrap our heads around that, the Lions may be in a legitimate Super Bowl window within the next 2 years with Jared Goff under contract. You get another couple drafts, a couple free agent cycles, one of them where you have the most cap space in the NFL. I think that they're in a Super Bowl window right now. I'm not saying they're going to win it within the next 2 years, but I'm saying it's possible. With the Detroit Red Wings, fortunately or unfortunately, they had that good run, and now they're on a 6-game losing streak, and they had to sell at the deadline. I think we're all okay with it, but you had to give up Filip Hronek, who is having the best season of his career, one of your most talented goal scorers in Bertuzzi, a guy in Verana that we hoped would contribute but didn't really this year, and Oskar Sundqvist, another guy who contributed this season. So I think the Red Wings, it'll come to fruition like around D-Mac's timeline, and I think the Lions, if a couple of things bounce their way, it wouldn't shock me to see them win a Super Bowl within the next 2 years.
Bold. All because of Aiden Hutchinson.
No, not all because of Aiden Hutchinson, but Aiden Hutchinson is one of the pieces of evidence of a guy who you can plug and play right away, which you can do in the NFL, which you can't really do in the NHL, no matter who you get.
Mike G says, click your heels, Sam. Go back to Ann Arbor. So you could do that as well.
Hey, I mean, it's a wonderful place.
It is. Sports Marketing Agency.
Yeah, it's all right.
Sports Marketing Agency. They spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast is called This is the S Word. It's a series about the stigma associated with seeking help. If you're struggling or you know someone that's struggling, go to thesportsma.com. Again, thesportsma.com, the Sports Marketing Agency. They're here to help.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, making way for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Terry Foster.
Clearing cap space.
What's that?
Clearing cap space for the final word.
No doubt about that. Terry Foster will be in for Ryan Ermanni. We have myself, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter, kind of the Walmart version, I guess, right?
Great value. Yeah.
Aldi.
We're like if you ordered the final word off Wish.
We are like if you ordered the final word from Uber Eats in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
You'll get it on Tuesday.
For sure.
You'll get it on Tuesday. There is no doubt.
No, we can't stop for final word. We've got Big D Energy at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We're the homemade hamburger.
That's a good one.
You know, the big, thick homemade hamburger. That's what we are, D-Mac. But hey, we're gonna do it anyway, though. We show up every day, so let's do it. Parker, how many years until the Red Wings are all in for Connor McDavid?
1.
Let me see.
They're trading for him this
Here's
summer.
the whole thing, right, with everything else, and I said this to somebody, what Steve Yzerman has put in his war chest, right? No one's ever traded the first overall pick when you have a generational Connor Bedard, but you have the conversation that Steve Yzerman has enough money, drafts, to whatever, to have that conversation. You know, like that. That's the whole thing of the way that he does it. And and here's the thing: when you're talking, the Larkin thing is so much deeper. You're paying $6.5 million for Larkin as a 2C player, and $1.5 million or $2 million for what he leads in the locker room and the culture that you put it around. All you got to know is Ken Holland might have drafted him, but Steve Yzerman gave him the seal of approval.
Gave him the seat.
Same thing as what Stamkos, and he made Stamkos go through down in Tampa. And how did that work out for him? You want to win you want to play in 3 consecutive finals and win 2 of them? I do.
I would like that.
So it's different. And Steven Stamkos is a 1A. Winger, sniper, scorer. Dylan Larkin's your 2C. That's like the whole thing is it's bigger than that. And then at the end of the day, Steve Yzerman to pass that check out, right, to Dylan Larkin to go to his house to have it signed or whatever, you guys don't understand. It's even deeper than that because he's the one person in this world when it comes to the Red Wing hockey at the top that will not let any of us get in the way of what the vision is. I see somebody in here, I miss Mr. I and stuff. I miss Mr. I too. Stevie doesn't do it entirely like Mr. I, but there's the Scotty Bowman influence and Mr. Illich influence and stuff like that. It's about the culture. So at the end of the day, we're in great shape. But it's the tortoise and the hare. Lions are the hare. We're the tortoise. And it's okay because we're going to get there.
The answer to the McDavid question, probably 2 years at a minimum because him and Draisaitl are together for the next 2 years after this year, and then McDavid has a 3rd year on there. And they did go to people forget they went to the conference finals last year.
Yes, they did.
They went to the Western Conference Finals last year.
They were a goalie away from going to the Cup Finals.
And there you go. So they're knocking on the door. I think people forget that. And I'm going to continue to give Connor McDavid and Louis Draisaitl kicks at the can.
Yes.
I'm not just cutting bait on that. I'm going to let it run its course.
You don't just give up when you have 2 of the top 5 players in that.
But that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. And maybe they can figure out something to get Nurse off the books with that monster contract that he has and figure it out. Go get their goalie and try to do it. Mike G wants to know, hey, where can I get a Final Word board game? They have the Final Word board game out in stores?
Yeah, probably. Probably like Sharper Image or Sous de Table.
Sharper Image. Has anybody in this room ever bought something from the Sharper Image?
No.
Have you, D-Mac?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Have you?
Oh yeah. Back in the day.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Now that makes more sense.
I bet the Final Word board game's at Sous de Table.
And it's, what do you think it is, 119 bucks?
$180.
It's like high-grain wood.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hand-carved figures.
It's got Maz's chair carved out.
It's got actual flakes of the big house, like, sprinkled in.
Yeah, on Ermanni and Edwards' chair.
Yep.
I think it could be like that. Real quick, too. John Morant and Joe Mixon. Can we stop with the guns?
Yeah. Joe Mixon's shooting at kids playing with Nerf guns. Well, it wasn't Joe Mixon. It's not confirmed if it was Joe Mixon or not, but somebody in Joe Mixon's house was shooting at kids playing with Nerf guns.
Can we stop with the guns? For real. You guys are multi-million-dollar athletes. John Morant, you're one of the top 5 players in the world at what you do.
Yeah.
Stop. Just leave the guns at home. Have somebody else carry the guns. Stop with the guns. Stop with it. Why is this hard?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I look at their friends. Like, if one of my friends was a multi-million-dollar athlete and they're playing...
I got a suggestion. You want to do what we do? You get a security.
Yeah.
You get a buddy who's a carrier that you don't have to be, that can follow around and be your security. You hire. You're a professional athlete. You can hire. You can use your boys that are legal. You put your boys, you set them up with a security system, and then they get paid everywhere you go for your appearance to run security. Then you don't have this situation. But again, things are different.
No, they are.
It's the same thing. This situation is the same thing as when you see an athlete or somebody of higher ilk drinking and driving. Why didn't you get a car? Yeah. Why didn't somebody drive? How does this guy make so much money and he not drive? It's the same conversation that I have with the guns. So.
Yeah, I mean, the drinking and driving thing, I guess I would even understand that more than firing shots with a gun. For real. I'm not saying it's I'm not a right or wronger discussion. I could understand it more than carrying the gun around, man. All right, well, that'll do it. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Appreciate everybody tapping in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Rate, review, subscribe to Big D Energy on Woodward Sports Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you get your podcasts. So for D-Mac, Sam Flannel, Spencer Rexner, my name is Neal Ruhl. Thanks for tapping in to Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.